Hey everyone, Rob Tiongson here from the Podium Finish, joined by a returning guest and one of the most versatile racers in the world. Driver of the number 5 HendrickCars.com Chevrolet in the NASCAR Cup Series. He's looking to make his third championship four appearance, and that would be, of course, Kyle Larson. And Kyle, welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, my friend. I know you have a busy week and hopefully a successful weekend coming up. So let's jump right into it. And, despite all the ups and downs that's happened since the last time we talked, that come naturally with the playoffs, of course, your team has consistently been in the fight every race weekend. And, from your perspective, what has allowed the number 5 team to maintain that rhythm so deep into the season?
Well, I mean, it's definitely taken some work. I think, we start off the year really good, and then we kind of tapered off there in the summer months and kind of lost track of some speed. But I feel like in the playoffs, we've done a much better job of finding that speed that we had lost and learning more about our race cars, and that's allowed us to kind of compete at the front again and consistently battle towards the front. So yeah, I'm really proud of everybody at Hendrick Motorsports. Our pit crew's been doing a phenomenal job. Our whole road crew, five team has been doing great also. And yeah, we got ourselves in position right now to make the final four. Just need to go execute Martinsville well. We need to score more points than the 20 car if there happens to be a new winner. But yeah, I feel good about our chances. Martinsville has been a decent track for us in the past.
It certainly has. And you've showcased whether with a softer tire compound or just overcoming some of the nuances of Martinsville that you have what it takes to succeed there. You've won there, gotten some podiums over the past several years. Given that the fact they've gone to that softer tire compound, and I think they changed the left side as well, how have you adapted to all of that? Because I know that was something that you and Cliff have been trying to work on, and it seems like it's worked out in favor of you guys lately.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't really remember, last year especially, and then even this year at Martinsville. But I think it all felt really similar from what I remember. Just the tire fall off, the shelf life, I guess, of the tire was just a little bit earlier into the run than it was before. But still, very kind of temp sensitive from what I remember. So we'll see. Though it always seems to change every time we go back. But yeah, hopefully our team's got a good handle on things and we can go there and do a good job this weekend.
And I think some of that execution comes from the fact that you and Cliff, of course, Cliff Daniels, your crew chief, have been together for so long. You guys know each other's like strengths and how to kind of encourage each other and all that. Can you walk me through what has made that working relationship with Cliff so effective, especially during these pressure-packed final weeks of the year?
Well, I mean, I think Cliff is just a great leader, and he's always evolving his leadership. And I don't think there's a better leader in the sport, or at least somebody who works as hard as he does on just the personal side of what it takes to run a team. So yeah, I commend him a lot for that. And yeah, he's just a great individual. He's really smart. He's worked under some great, people, Chad Canales that he's learned from, guys like that. I think being surrounded by everybody at Hendrick Motorsports too helps him as well. So yeah, just it's truly an honor to be driving his race cars and working under his leadership really helps us all.
With Cliff also being a former race car driver in the late model scene, and I know he's probably raced at Martin himself. How much of an asset is it to pick his brain, even though these cars are so different from what he drove to excel at Martinsville or just in general?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that allows me to trust his input even more, and I think that makes him really good at like, you know, seeing what the car is doing without me even having to communicate much, to him. He can usually see it on the, data before I ever have to talk. So, yeah, I feel like he's really good at diagnosing things and, yeah, that just, hopefully has you find the answer to problems a little quicker. And yeah, he's always, on the radio with me in Martinsville trying to coach me through, how getting around there because I don't know, I don't feel the most comfortable there. But yeah, it's a challenging track, but having him in our corner is definitely good.
And that sounds like it's a great beneficial relationship for you guys because he can live vicariously a little bit through you in the driver's seat, but also that element of team success is something that you both have fostered since pairing up in 2021. So that's really cool to see that come to fruition over these last several years. And you're making your third deep playoff run with Hendrick Motorsports. You've got a shot at your second championship. I hate asking comparison questions, but I have to ask you, of course, journalist to athlete, does it feel any different from 2021 or even 2023 from a mental standpoint about how you approach these last two races?
Uh, well, I mean, I don't know. I was 2021. We had so many bonus points. That we were pretty confident. I feel like that we could make the final four based off points, but we went out and won the first race of the round of eight, so that was nice. I don't remember 2023 or 2023. I think we won the first race of that round as well. So, which we almost did the same thing again this year, but I don't know. Every year is a little bit different, and I wouldn't compare this year to any that I've had at Hendrick Motorsports. I think the first third of the season felt very similar to what I remember from 2021, where we were just really strong and leading lots of laps and winning races and all of that. And then it kind of turned sideways, and then now it's kind of been its own sort of challenging year. Um, but we're still in contention to make the final four, and I feel very confident that if we do, we can compete better than we have in the next year era for a championship. So, um, yeah, this year has been a lot of emotions, a lot of different things. Losing John Edwards, replacing the pit crew. We've had some other crew members come and go, and the team looks very different than it did in April or even early May. So, yeah, it's been a lot. I wouldn't like I said, this year is unlike any other so far.
You mentioned all those changes, and of course, the passing of our friend John Edwards. He's a great individual person that we all missed, will always miss. We've missed all these changes. What do you feel like you, Kyle Larson, have learned about yourself throughout all of this?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I haven't really thought much about it. I think our team, I guess myself included, throughout all the distractions or whatever you want to call it, throughout the year, I feel like we've done a good job of staying focused and driven towards what it's going to take to continue to compete at a high level. And I think that still comes from the leadership traits that a guy like John Edwards had left with us, and even our pit crew members, and then on top of all that, just Cliff leading us through that all. So yeah, I think we've done good through it. And again, it's been a lot, but yeah, would want nothing more than to make it to Phoenix and compete for a championship, hopefully win the championship, and be able to dedicate it to John and even our pit crew that's been a part of our team before, for shaping us to what we are today.
That would certainly make a very special moment in Phoenix, which I know is like a second home track for you, given that you kind of reside over there in Arizona as well. So I'm sure you're working really hard to make that moment come true, fruition for sure. And I got a couple more questions. I know you got a busy morning ahead. I hate to ask these kind of questions, but this is the curiosity in me, Kyle. You've done practically everything there is to do in motorsports, but you're still in your prime. You're not 40 like me. You're still young. But
You're
how long do
40?
you? Yeah, I'm 40.
Whoa, I did not know that.
Well, we're both Asian, so we know how
Yeah,
that
we
works.
we age slower, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. But bring it back to you, of course, not about me. You've done everything there is to racing. I wish I could say the same, but you're still in your prime. But how long do you realistically see yourself racing full time in Cup?
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely it's a tough question to ask, because I think that thought and idea probably changes every year, or probably even less than every year. Every time I might think about it in my head, it might change. But I think for me, I'm 33 right now. I would, I think it's realistic to see me, race and cup, until I'm 40. And then I think that's probably where I would have to, reevaluate where I'm at in my life and career, and what my kids are into, where they're at in their lives. That's almost 7 years from now. So, Owen will be going close to 18 years old by that point. And yeah, Audrey would be about 14, and Cooper would be, about 10, which would be, Owen's age right now. So life will look a lot different at that point. So it probably comes down to really what they're into and all that. But I really enjoy what I'm doing right now, and I just don't know if that changes, when I'm 40. But that's the next milestone for me to get to, and then we'll see.
Well, hopefully you do at least do the 7 years and a lot more, because that's what my dad, who's there 80 years old, he wanted me to ask you. He's like, I'm gonna quit NASCAR when he and Kyle's done. I'm like, let me ask him that. I don't mean to pressure you that, and like Kyle, but it's good to know because he
Yeah.
loved watching your race for sure. To close things out on the happy note, of course, you mentioned about Owen and Audrey. I know Cooper's he's a young boy and all that, but Owen and Audrey, you shared clips of them racing. They've won races. How surreal is it to see them doing what you've loved all your life and they're in the beginning of their journey? And then is it any different watching them and their approach and having to be in the passenger seat and just trying to mentor them as much as possible?
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's a lot of fun to see them, enjoying racing and getting really involved in it. I wish I could go to a lot more of it. I don't get to. I get to go to, quite a bit. I feel like of their Millbridge stuff, but yeah, they've been traveling a fair bit this year, and Oklahoma, Illinois, some places around the Midwest, and I don't ever get to go to those, but um, it's cool to get to see, them building just lifelong memories probably. And yeah, they're both getting competitive. I would say it's been really fun to see Owen taking it a little bit more serious here lately. And I feel like his results are kind of showing, his effort. So that's made me pretty proud of him. And then Audrey, she's always put in a lot of work, at her racing. So that makes me happy as well. But really, the main thing is just seeing them have fun. I know it stresses Caitlin out having to take them to the races all the time, but I know when she's there, she's having fun too, and she's made her own friendships at the track and whatnot. So, and then Cooper, yeah, I mean, he's just out there being crazy and running around while he's at the track too. So that's always fun.
And I love seeing that element of you, Kyle, because Audrey obviously she had a lot of fun with you during the pre-race at Las Vegas. And it's just cool to see that, when fans think, oh, they're just celebrities. No, you're a human being like me and you. So it's cool to see those interactions to say the least. I had another question, but we're gonna save that for another time because I know you got to get ready for Martinsville and all that. So with that, I'm gonna say best of luck, Martinsville, hopefully championship for Phoenix. But until next time, Kyle, it is always a pleasure to talk to you during the racing season. And hope to catch up, hopefully, with you winning a championship this year.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
You got it. Kyle Larson, everybody in the hot seat.